Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing fine during this COVID-19 pandemic time and taking due care of yourselves and your family. I am Dr. Priya Kulkarni from Community Medicine Department of Symbiosis Medical College for Pune. We know that COVID-19 is a respiratory viral disease which is caused by novel coronavirus, and this virus is originated in Wuhan city of China in December 2019. Before going through symptoms of COVID-19, let us watch how coronavirus spreads in the community.
The COVID-19 virus spreads mainly between people in close contact with each other. It spreads most easily in crowded settings, closed spaces with poor ventilation, or through prolonged contact with an infected person. This is because, as a person infected with the COVID-19 virus breathes, talks, coughs, or sneezes, liquid particles of various sizes are expelled into the air. Larger particles are called droplets. Smaller particles are called aerosols. You can contract the virus if infected particles come into contact with your eyes, nose, or mouth. Whether you are inside or outside, always maintain a physical distance of at least 1 meter from others. When you are in an enclosed or poorly ventilated space, the virus can spread more easily. In these conditions, aerosols can remain suspended in the air or travel farther than 1 meter. When you are inside, make sure to stay at least 1 meter from others. Wear a mask. Open a window to improve ventilation. And limit your time spent in these settings. To protect yourself and others, always follow these 6 precautions.
Thus, COVID-19 basically enters our body through nose, throat, and eyes from infectious droplets, aerosols containing virus, and contact of the contaminated surfaces. Not all the people who are exposed or infected with coronavirus develop COVID-19 disease. Some individuals who are infected may not have even symptoms, and others may require hospitalization or ventilators. Let us now see what are the symptoms of COVID-19. After 2 to 14 days of exposure to coronavirus, either in the form of infected case or droplets or aerosols, only some people develop symptoms of COVID-19. That is why people who have been exposed to the virus are advised to remain at home and stay away from others for 14 days. It is to prevent the spread of the virus, especially where testing is not easily available. Now, most common symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, dry cough, fatigue, and loss of taste or smell. Then sore throat, body ache and headache, diarrhea, skin rash, red eyes are recognized as less common symptoms. But if someone has difficulty in breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, confusion, inability to stay awake, bluish lips or face, these should be taken as emergency warning signs of COVID-19, and emergency medical care should be sought immediately. Now let us go through this video about symptoms of COVID-19.
Welcome to this MIPMastery Coronavirus Update. I'm Franz Wiesbauer. I'm an internist trained in epidemiology and public health at Johns Hopkins and the founder of MIPMastery, where we teach important clinical skills to doctors and other healthcare providers around the world. Today, we're going to talk about the symptoms associated with COVID-19. They're quite a bit different from a regular cold. Let's see how. The disease seems to start with a fever followed by a dry cough. Around 80% of confirmed cases are mild and can stay home, whereas 20% are more severe and need inpatient care due to the pneumonia and its consequences caused by the virus. What's interesting is that COVID-19 only rarely seems to cause a runny nose, sneezing, or even a sore throat, even though the sore throat seems to be a little more common. These symptoms, commonly observed in regular colds, have been observed in only about 5% of COVID-19 patients. A paper published by Chen and co-workers in the respected journal The Lancet described the clinical course of 99 cases hospitalized for SARS-CoV-2 associated pneumonia. They found that fever and cough were the most common symptoms of COVID-19, followed by shortness of breath. So the classical symptoms of pneumonia seem to be dominant in these patients.
If your doctor or emergency helpline recommends to visit laboratory or hospital for testing, assessment or isolation, wear a medical mask while traveling to and from the facility and during medical care. Also, keep at least 6 feet distance from other people and avoid touching surfaces with your hands. This applies to adults as well as children. Now, you are requested to solve these multiple choice questions based on symptoms of COVID-19. So, first question is, most common symptom of COVID-19 is fever, sore throat, skin rash, red eyes. Yes, of course, fever. Then second question is, during COVID-19 pandemic, we should seek emergency medical help if person has fever, body ache, difficulty in breathing, skin rash. Yes, it's difficulty in breathing. During COVID-19 pandemic, if someone has difficulty in breathing, we should seek emergency medical care immediately. Now let us go through some facts and myths about COVID-19. Some people think that catching COVID-19 infects us for lifetime or it always results in death. It is not that. Most of the people who catch COVID-19 and have mild and moderate symptoms can recover and eliminate the virus from their bodies. If you catch this disease, make sure you treat your symptoms. If you have cough, fever and difficulty in breathing, seek medical care as early as possible. But call your health facility by telephone first. Most of the patients recover thanks to supportive care. Thus, if anyone has fever during COVID-19 pandemic, test, track and treat strategy should be adopted. During COVID-19 pandemic, common tendency is seen that people with fever hesitate to go to physician or for swab test for COVID-19. They fear that if they will be detected positive for COVID-19, they will have to isolate themselves or what people will say about them. But please remember that it is hazardous for self as well as others to remain without consulting physician if you have fever during this COVID-19 pandemic. We should not neglect any person with fever. Let us watch this video to see how important to see physician as you have fever during this pandemic.
Day-to-day symptoms of COVID-19. Before proceeding, please note that this general overview is compiled for initial self-assessment only and may vary for each individual. If you are not feeling well, you should immediately consult a medical practitioner to have an accurate diagnosis and proper treatment of COVID-19. The typical daily symptoms are concluded from the study of 138 patients at Zhongyang Hospital of Wuhan University, and another study involving 135 patients from Jinyintan Hospital and 56 patients from Wuhan Pulmonary Hospital. These symptoms are broken down into Day 1 to Day 2. The beginning symptoms are similar to the common cold, with a mild sore throat and neither having a fever nor feeling tired. Patients can still consume food and drink as usual. Day 3. The patient's throat starts to feel a bit painful. Body temperature reads at around 36.5 degrees Celsius. Although it's uncommon, other symptoms like mild nausea, vomiting, or mild diarrhea are possible to set in. Day 4. Throat pain becomes more serious. Other symptoms like feeling weak and joint pain start to manifest. The patient may show a temperature reading between 36.5 degrees to 37 degrees Celsius. Day 5 to 6. Mild fever starts. The patient show a temperature reading above 37.2 degrees Celsius. The second most common symptom, dry cough, also appears. Dyspnea or breathing difficulty may occur occasionally. Most patients in this stage are easily feeling tired. Other symptoms remain about the same. These 4 symptoms are among the top 5 key indications of COVID-19, according to the final report of the initial outbreak conducted by the Joint Mission of China and WHO. Day 7. The patients that haven't started recovering by Day 7 get more serious coughs and breathing difficulty. Fever can get higher, up to 38 degrees Celsius. Patients may develop further headache and body pain, or worsening diarrhea if there's any. Many patients are admitted to hospital at this stage. Day 8 to 9. On the 8th day, the symptoms are likely to be worsened for the patient who has coexisting medical conditions. Severe shortness of breath becomes more frequent. Temperature reading goes well above 38 degrees. In one of the studies, Day 9 is the average time when sepsis starts to affect 40% of patients. Day 10 to 11. Doctors are ordering imaging tests like chest X-ray to capture the severity of respiratory distress in patients. Patients are having loss of appetite and may be facing abdominal pain. The condition also needs immediate treatment in ICU. Day 12 to 14. For the survivors, the symptoms can be well managed at this point. Fever tends to get better and breathing difficulties may start to cease on Day 13. But some patients may still be affected by mild cough even after hospital discharge. Day 15 to 16. Day 15 is the opposite condition for the rest of the minority patients. The fragile group must prepare for the possibility of acute cardiac injury or kidney injury. Day 17 to 19. COVID-19 fatality cases happen at around Day 18. Before the time, vulnerable patients may develop a secondary infection caused by a new pathogen in the lower respiratory tract. The severe condition may then lead to blood coagulation and ischemia. Day 20 to 22. The surviving patients are recovered completely from the disease and are discharged from the hospital.
Then, as we know that COVID-19 is a viral disease and it is caused by novel coronavirus and not by bacteria. As it is not caused by bacteria, antibiotics cannot prevent COVID-19 disease, though some of the people say that it is prevented by antibiotics. It is not true. But yes, in hospitalized patients, we used to give them antibiotics. It is only to prevent secondary bacterial infections caused by other bacteria so that already existing COVID-19 disease should not get worsened. Then some people think that only old people get COVID-19 disease. It is also not that. People of all ages can be infected by coronavirus and they may get COVID-19 disease subsequently. But in old people and in people with comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension asthma, tuberculosis, overall immunity is lowered, and so these people appear to have more severe form of COVID-19 disease. Same thing happens for the patients who are already on the treatment with drugs that lower immunity and steroids. Then during COVID-19 pandemic, we have to wear masks for prolonged times. Some people may think that because of wearing this mask for so prolonged period, we can get less oxygen or level of carbon dioxide in our bodies is increasing because of it. So please don't worry about it. It never occurs because of mask. Only we should select the mask appropriately, which is well fitting from all the sides of the face. Still, it is not too tight to cause any difficulty in breathing. Now, let us please watch the video for how to select appropriate mask for ourselves.
There is no one head size. Hats come in small, medium, and large. Eyeglasses are fitted. Just like with a hat or glasses, your mask should also fit your face, because any gap allows the virus to escape. No matter how good your mask is at filtering the virus, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't work. There are plenty of ways to get a good fit. Look for masks that come in different sizes and find the one that fits your face. Adjust the straps around your ears or head for a snug fit. Look for a mask with a flexible nose piece. Here's what to check. No gaps at the sides, no gaps at the nose, and no gaps around the chin. Now, breathe normally. Is it comfortable? If not, find another one. If it is comfortable, make sure when you blow hard, the air stays in your mask. Stay safe, close the gaps. And don't forget, it's not just about masks. Get vaccinated when it's your turn. Keep your distance, clean your hands, cover your cough with a bent elbow or tissue, and open a window.
One misbelief about face mask is that we can substitute it by stoles, scarves, handkerchiefs, mufflers, dupattas, or even by part of our sari. All these substitutes do not protect effectively from getting coronavirus, and sometimes there is a risk of taking a layer inside which was once on outer side and that may have virus. Thus, it increases chance of spread of virus by inhalation as well as by direct contact. Hence, we should strictly say no to all these substitutes of face mask and should wear face mask which is of appropriate size, has a triple layer and has proper elastic straps. Let us watch a video showing how to use a fabric mask safely.
A fabric mask acts as a barrier to prevent the spread of the virus. It must be used correctly and always combined with other measures to protect yourself and everyone else. When wearing a fabric mask, clean your hands before putting it on. Inspect the mask and do not use it if it is damaged or dirty. Cover your mouth, nose, and chin. Adjust the mask to your face, leaving no gaps on the sides. Avoid touching the mask while wearing it. Change your mask once it gets dirty or wet. To take off the mask, clean your hands first. Remove it by the straps behind the head or ears without touching the front of the mask. As you remove the mask, pull it away from your face. Clean your hands after taking off any mask. If you need to reuse a fabric mask, Store it in a clean, resealable bag. Hold the mask at the elastic ends when removing it from the bag and make sure it is not dirty or wet before using it again. Wash fabric masks in soap or detergent, preferably with hot water, at least once a day. Make sure you have your own mask and do not share it with others. When wearing a mask, make sure you know how to put it on, use it, remove it, and discard it or wash it correctly. Remember that a mask alone cannot protect you. When wearing a mask, continue to adopt other measures to prevent the spread of the virus. Stay at least 1 meter away from others. Clean your hands frequently and thoroughly, and avoid touching your face and mask. Stay safe, and let's all prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Then people should not wear face mask while exercising, because during exercise one may not be able to breathe comfortably, and mask can also get wet because of sweating during exercise. Hence, during exercise, instead of wearing mask, one can maintain distance of at least 6 feet from others. Coronavirus is not transmitted through water while swimming. It is transmitted only through air and contact of the contaminated surfaces. But when out of water or out of swimming pool, virus can spread between people. So when you are not swimming or out of swimming pool, wear the mask, avoid overcrowding, and maintain social distance of at least 6 feet, and cover a cough or sneeze with tissue or bent elbow. Also, cleaning and sanitizing hands frequently protects everyone from COVID-19 disease. An alcohol-based hand rub is listed as a WHO essential medicine, and it should be used always for this purpose. Now, there are many myths spread in the community regarding this alcohol-based sanitizer. We should remember that alcohol-based sanitizers are safe for everyone to use. They do not create any health issues, as very little quantity of alcohol from sanitizer gets absorbed through the skin. Also, most of these products use emollients as ingredients, so it reduces dryness of the skin, and also allergies to these alcohol-based sanitizer are reported very rare. There is also no harm in using hand sanitizers very often. Unlike other antiseptics and antibiotics, viruses or bacteria do not develop resistance to it, though it is used many times or for every time to sanitize our hands. Now, there is also a rumor that in some religions, alcohol-based sanitizer is prohibited. So, it is also not that any manufactured substance developed to reduce illness or to contribute to better health is permitted by any religion. And that is why alcohol-based sanitizers can be used in religions where alcohol is prohibited. It is also safer to frequently clean your hands with soap and water or sanitize them frequently instead of wearing gloves, because wearing gloves for all the times has a risk of transferring coronavirus from one surface to other. It also contaminates your hands when you are removing them. Wearing gloves does not replace cleaning hands frequently. Gloves are permitted only for health workers, and that is too only for specific tasks. Then there is again a myth that use of communal bottle of sanitizer can infect us. Use of bottle of alcohol based sanitizer placed at public place will not infect us. Once we have sanitized our hands, we have disinfected them from any germs that may be transferred from that bottle to hands. If everyone uses sanitizer in a public place such as supermarket entrance, then mall, the risk of germs on communal items will also be lowered and will help keep everyone safe. Then the amount of alcohol based sanitizer we use also matters. Palmful of alcohol based sanitizer should be taken to cover all the surfaces of the hands, dorsum of the hand, then palmar aspect of the hands and the space in between the fingers also. Then hands should be rubbed together using the right technique until they are dry. The entire procedure of hand sanitization should last for 20 to 30 seconds. Let us go through this video showing when and how we can sanitize our hands.
Please note that this technique is not appropriate when hands are visibly dirty or after using the toilet. In these cases, hand washing is required. Hand rubbing should take you 20 to 30 seconds. Use a timer or count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each of the following steps. Apply a palmful of alcohol-based hand rub in a cupped hand, enough to cover all surfaces of the hands. Rub hands palm to palm, then rub right palm over the back of left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub again palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked, repeating this action for each hand. Rub rotationally left thumb clasped in right palm and vice versa. To clean the tips of your fingers, rub rotationally backwards and forwards with clasped fingers of right hand in left palm and vice versa. Once dry, your hands are now clean and safe.
Now let us take a time to solve MCQs. For sanitization of hands, one should use bleach, sodium hypochlorite solution, alcohol based sanitizer, Lysol. Yes, it is alcohol based sanitizer. Second MCQ for you is, which of the following carries highest risk of getting coronavirus infection? First option is going to grocery store without mask. Second option is exercising with social distancing without mask. Third option is taking sanitizer from communal bottle. Fourth option is mosquito bites and house flies. So yes, going to grocery store without mask will be a dangerous for getting infection with the coronavirus. Otherwise, we have already seen that exercising with social distancing without mask is okay. We have to do that because it will cause difficulty in breathing, it will cause wetting of the mask because of sweat. Then taking sanitizer from communal bottle, disinfect all the germs that are carried in your palm. And then mosquito bites and house flies, they are also not supported by any research that they carry the COVID-19 virus. So coming to other facts about coronavirus and COVID-19, drinking methanol or ethanol or bleach does not prevent or cure COVID-19 disease and can be extremely dangerous as these substances are poisonous and corrosive, especially bleach or sodium hypochlorite. They will not kill the virus in your body, otherwise they will harm your internal organs. So drinking them can lead to disability and death also. WHO recommends homemade bleach solutions of about 2 to 10% concentration to clean hard surfaces. They clear them from a presence of any coronavirus. Cleaning hard surfaces with this solution can disinfect them not just from coronavirus but also from other viruses and germs. We should use diluted bleach sodium hypochlorite solution for disinfecting objects and surfaces, especially the ones we touch regularly like tabletops, door handles, buttons, to protect ourselves against COVID-19 infection. Similarly, spraying these substances into your body parts like nose, throat, ears will not protect you against COVID-19. Also, it can be dangerous as these substances are corrosive and irritants and they damage skin, eyes and lungs. Exposing yourself to sun or temperatures higher than 25 degrees Celsius does not protect you from COVID-19. Countries with hot weather like some parts of Africa have also reported number of cases of COVID-19. Then coronavirus can also spread in hot and humid climates like parts of African and Indian subcontinents. No any temperature zone has remained free from coronavirus and COVID-19 disease. Also, countries with cold weather or that are cold for most of the year like some parts of UK, Italy, Spain, northern USA, they also have reported number of cases of COVID-19. Then we do think that countries where there is a snow for most of the year or snowfall, they may not have coronavirus. But it is not that. Canada, Russia, then Scandinavia, they also have reported these COVID-19 cases. Thus, any temperature cannot kill COVID-19 virus. Whatever will be the surrounding temperature, normally our body temperature is maintained around 36.5 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. Hence, taking a hot bath for prolonged times does not prevent COVID-19 infection or disease. Instead, it carries a risk of burn. Some people say that rinsing nose with saline protects people from COVID-19 infection, but it is not that. There is no evidence till today that regularly rinsing your nose with saline protects people from infection with new coronavirus. Then UV lamps should not be used to disinfect hands or other areas of your skin, as UV radiation can cause skin irritation and damage to your eyes. Some people think that hand dryers can kill coronavirus in the throat effectively. No, it's not that. Hand dryers are also not effective in killing the COVID-19 virus. They should be used to dry hands once they are cleaned with soap and water. There is again a misbelief that adding pepper to your soup or other meals prevent or cure COVID-19. It does not prevent or cure COVID-19. All these substances and spices help to enhance taste, but their overuse should be avoided. some people say that garlic is effective in preventing getting coronavirus infection. Eating garlic does not prevent COVID-19 infection or disease. Yes, garlic is healthy food and it may have some antimicrobial properties, but it is not proved yet that garlic protects from COVID-19 infection. COVID-19 virus cannot be spread through mosquito bites. Coronavirus is a respiratory virus which spreads primarily through droplets generated when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose of infected person. So, it cannot be spread because of mosquito bites. Similarly, COVID-19 is not transmitted through house flies also. The likelihood of shoes spreading COVID-19 is very low. But as a precautionary measure, particularly in homes where infants and small children crawl or play on floors, shoes should be removed at the entrance of the home. This will help prevent contact with dirt or any waste that is carried on soles of the shoes. Meanwhile, there was some rumor that 5G mobile network can spread COVID-19 virus. 5G networks do not spread COVID-19 viruses as these viruses cannot travel on radio waves or mobile networks. COVID-19 is spreading in many countries that do not have 5G mobile networks yet. Thermal scanners cannot detect whether the person is suffering from COVID-19 infection or disease. They are only effective in detecting people who have fever. They cannot detect people who have COVID-19 infection, and so consult your physician if thermal scanner detects you to have fever. There is one more rumor that being able to hold your breath for 10 seconds or more without coughing or feeling discomfort means that you are free from COVID-19 infection or you will not get it ever. We cannot confirm whether we are suffering from COVID-19 infection or not based on such breathing exercise. Even it can be dangerous. The best way to confirm whether we are suffering from COVID-19 infection and disease or not is with lab test, and it is very necessary to undergo lab test if you are already having some symptoms of COVID-19 like fever or sore throat. Then vitamin C, other vitamins and mineral supplements cannot cure COVID-19. So, it is not that we will just keep on taking vitamin C supplements, then multivitamin supplements or some minerals, and we will not have these COVID appropriate behaviors, and it will protect us with getting the COVID-19 infection. All these micronutrients, they are critical for our well functioning of the immune system. They play vital role in promoting health and our nutritional well-being. Hence, they are also used as supplements in treatment of COVID-19 infection. But it is not that if we take them regularly and will not obey all these COVID appropriate behaviors, still we will be free from COVID-19 infection. Also, as vitamin C helps to boost immunity, everyone, including COVID patients, should consume lot of vitamin C rich fruits like amla, citrus fruits like oranges, lemon, and vegetables like spinach. Then during this pandemic, sometimes it was rumored that steroids help to cure these all COVID-19 patients. It is not that. Dexamethasone and hydrocortisone steroids are reserved for patients with severe COVID-19 disease only, and usually these patients are on ventilators. Steroids provided no improvement for patients with mild symptoms, and hence they should not be stored at homes or clinics in large stocks, as they are required in hospitals and intensive care units only. Studies show hydroxychloroquine does not have clinical benefits in treating COVID-19 patients. Though initially in the pandemic we believed that hydroxychloroquine may have effect in curing COVID-19, it does not prevent any illness or death from COVID-19. Vaccine against pneumonia such as pneumococcal vaccine, then Hib vaccine, they do not protect against COVID-19 virus. Now we know that researchers have developed vaccine against COVID-19, and we all should take these vaccines as instructed by government or by manufacturer. So these vaccines protect us to get infection and severe COVID-19 disease. Meanwhile, Ayush Ministry suggested that some Unani medicines can help to prevent the coronavirus infection. However, there is no scientific backing that these Unani medicine can help not getting infection or curing the disease. Some rumor during this pandemic was that eating meat can cause you coronavirus infection or disease. No, it is not that. Eating meat cannot cause coronavirus infection or disease. Coronavirus does not spread through consumption of meat, but as it can be contaminated at shop or during transport, it should be consumed after proper cooking. And if you are using ready-made cooked item, it should be heated properly before consumption. Now, let us solve some MCQs. During COVID-19 pandemic, one should not eat meat, touch hands to face, mask, nose, eyes, live in temperature less than 25 degrees Celsius, and fourth option is exercise without mask. So think about it. What is the exact correct answer? Yes, during COVID-19 pandemic, one should not touch hands to face, mask, nose or eyes. So because of this, we have a risk of getting infection due to our contaminated hands. Now we have already seen eating meat is not prohibited, but yes, it should be cooked properly before consumption. Then third option, live in temperature less than 25 degrees Celsius, then you will not get coronavirus infection. No, it is not that. We have seen that no any country, no any region has escaped from COVID-19 disease. And exercise without mask, yes, during exercise we have to remove mask as there is difficulty in breathing and mask may get wet. In such situations, we should have 6 feet distance from others instead of wearing mask. Then second MCQ is, which of the following can prevent coronavirus infection? Antibiotics, multivitamins, COVID appropriate behavior, pneumococcal and Hib vaccine, garlic and spices like black pepper. So yes, some of you have already prompted. I think it is COVID appropriate behavior, right? It is the only way to prevent coronavirus infection. We have already seen that antibiotics, multivitamin, they are not used to prevent the infection because COVID-19 is a viral disease. So antibiotics cannot prevent it. Antibiotics are against bacteria. Then multivitamins, yes, they can increase our nutritional well-being, but they are not effective to prevent coronavirus infection. Only COVID appropriate behaviors will protect us from coronavirus infection. Then pneumococcal and Hib vaccine, no, it is not that. Our scientists have already developed a vaccine against COVID-19. So we all should properly take the prescribed doses of this vaccine. And then garlic and spices like black pepper, yes, to some extent they soothe our throat and all that, but they can't prevent getting coronavirus infection. And we all know that the only way to prevent COVID-19 infection is to follow COVID-19 appropriate behaviors. Now, what is that COVID-19 appropriate behavior? The important strategy that we use to explain for COVID-19 appropriate behavior is SMS. Now, what is SMS? Here, S is for sanitizer use. Regular use of alcohol-based hand sanitizer and frequent hand washing, that is too with appropriate technique. Then M is for mask, that is we should always wear proper mask and avoid touching your eyes, mouth and nose. Second S in SMS is social distancing, that is maintaining physical distance of at least 1 meter from others. Let us follow these 15 COVID appropriate behaviors as shown in this video. Also, during this COVID-19 pandemic, we should maintain overall health by taking balanced diet, staying well hydrated, exercising regularly, meditating and sleeping well. So it all will help us to fight against coronavirus because of better immunity. There is also a rumor that third wave of COVID-19 pandemic will affect badly to our children. Till today, evidence suggests that COVID-19 in children is often asymptomatic and mild disease. It hardly requires hospitalization, and that too in immunocompromised and for children who are with comorbidities. Yet, government has done adequate arrangements for COVID hospitals and COVID care centers that are specially designed for children. They will provide proper, effective COVID care and treatment for children if required. Trials for vaccines against COVID-19 in children are also being in progress. But we should remember that there will not be any worrisome situation for children in third wave if we all will strictly adhere to COVID appropriate behaviors. We should also teach COVID appropriate behaviors to our children and correct other members in the community who are not following COVID appropriate behaviors. Also, no one should hesitate getting vaccinated fully and follow test, track and treat strategy to contain COVID-19 pandemic. During the current COVID-19 pandemic, there are and there will be numerous rumors and misinformations spreading about reasons, outcome, prevention and cure of COVID-19. All these rumors and misinformations can promote faulty practices that can increase the spread of coronavirus and disease in the community. For example, though we have effective vaccine against coronavirus and nationwide vaccination campaign is going on, some people believe and insist others to believe how vaccination against COVID-19 is harmful, which in fact is a scientific way to prevent COVID-19 disease, especially severe form of it. Thus, spread of rumors and misinformations places hurdles to healthy behaviors among people. So, everyone should be keen so that they will not fall prey to any rumors and misinformations about COVID-19. The mass media, healthcare organizations, community-based organizations, and other important stakeholders should also disseminate authentic public health messages. As a responsible citizen, we should also consider trusted sources only to get information about coronavirus and COVID-19, such as official government and healthcare websites. Social media channels should be believed only after evaluation for reliability and credibility of the information. Here, this slide displays some official websites about coronavirus and COVID-19 disease that can be trusted. So many thanks to all of you for undergoing this session during this course. Hope you all know now what are the symptoms of COVID-19 and have cleared your most of the doubts and misunderstandings about COVID-19. So take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.